Welcome to Books and Besties, the virtual book fair. Share this link with others and get ready for something awesome. Books and Besties, the virtual book fair. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone it is for you. Welcome to today's episode of Books and Besties. I am your co-host, Dr. Angie B. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. We've got a beautiful lineup of guests. I can't wait to dive into who they are, what they're doing, and how we can support them. And so I want to tell you just a brief background of Books and Besties. We are going on, I think this is our second year. We're starting our second year of bringing you authors, entrepreneurs, community, and ministry leaders. That's what we do. And we introduce them to you because maybe you're in a situation where you would not have been able to meet them, you know? So that's why we do this show. We definitely do this show to support other authors and support each of you, because we want to bring you an interesting crew of guests. All right, before I go any further, I need to bring in my co-host, author Avalon S. Brown. She's also executive producer of this show. Every time you come on the show, you got a new title. Oh, with as much work as you do, finding the guests and getting them scheduled. Yeah. You're executive producer. Yeah. Good morning, dear.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
I want to give a shout out to your granddaughter for watching the show. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you to all our family members that watch the show. It does make a difference. It is encouraging. Before I go any further, I need to bring in my co-host, author Avalon S. Brown. Avalon, how's the weather in New Jersey today?
Well, today it's cold again. They fooled us with 2 hot days in the 70s, and then they just knocked us right back down to this cold, chill weather.
Wow. I don't know what's going on with I don't know what's going on with the weather.
They always said March is an unpredictable month, so that's probably what's going on with March. You never know what the weather gonna be.
Okay, I hear you. I've been blaming it on the groundhog or the hedgehog or whatever kind of hog it was. That is amazing. Tell me about some of the authors that are coming today. How did you meet them? You remember?
I met them through like their agents or their publicists. You know, when I put out invitations, you know, they answered and they sent their authors over to be on the show. So I have different ways. Sometimes I find them on Facebook, you know, I have different author groups that I look out and I send out invitation out, you know, and they answer and then, you know, I give them a confirmation, set them up for the show.
That's why you're executive producer now. That's a whole lot of work. That's a whole lot of work. I am grateful. This show has grown beyond my expectations, and I give God the credit for sending you. So,
it's a pleasure. Pleasure to work with you. Yes.
All right, tell me about this new anthology you're working on. You're going to be teaching nurses in this one?
No. What I'm looking for is nurse educators, you know, or preceptors, the one that train the new nurses that come in. And some are labeled as educators, some are preceptor. Like I was a trained preceptor. So I would train the new nurses that come on the unit. Yeah, educators are the ones that set up the in services for the new nurses. They guide them, they give them, all the policies and the skills. They help them with the skills when they're new. So I'm looking for those educators, and I had 10 questions for them based on, their expertise and their experience in bringing in the new nurses.
Nice. So not just, and I don't want to say just a nurse, but a specific trainer.
Right. Yes. That
Okay.
train the new nurses because, they have to go through orientation. So someone has to be there to guide them through the orientation. So this is the
Oh.
voices of the educators, what they think the nurses need, what they see when the new nurses come, what they can learn, how nursing is, what direction nursing is going in now. So it's the voices of the educators, those that's actually training these new nurses coming in.
That's going to be an incredible project. Oh, that's
Yeah.
going to be so good.
Yeah.
Man. Congratulations already. I'm
Thank you.
excited about that one.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is my first anthology where I have set up questions that they can base their chapter and answers on.
Mhm,
What
mhm.
how they feel about this as educators.
And as an author, for our audience members that want to be an author, it sounds like what Avalon has done is given them an outline. The 10 questions are basically an outline for their writings.
Yes.
So if you want to be an author and you don't know where to start, give yourself some questions to answer, and that becomes your outline. And I tell
Hmm.
you, it's so much faster and easier to answer questions than it is to sit up and say, okay, what do I want to do for chapter 1? What do I want to do for chapter 5? It's easier if you follow the list of questions. So good job, Avalon. Good
Yes.
job.
Thank you.
Before we bring in our first guest, Mary Beal, she'll be joining us in just a minute. I want to show you a couple of projects that Avalon and I have worked on together. So this first one is Tunes, Guitar Journey, and Still I Care. So we'll play those and then we'll be ready when we come back to interview Mary Beal.
A must-read for every music lover and aspiring dreamer. The ups and downs of Tunes' guitar journey. Follow the incredible journey of North Toombs Woodall in his new memoir. From the moment he picked up a guitar at age 11 to forming his own bands and performing alongside world-renowned musical legends, this book captures the soul, the struggle, and the ultimate triumph of a true artist. Order your copy today. Available on Amazon and Tunes.net. That's the number 2, Tunes.net. The ups and downs of Tunes' guitar journey. Order your copy today.
Still, I Care. Nurses Rising After Bullying. Presented by visionary author Avalon S. Brown, RN, BSN. Still, I Care. Nurses Rising After Bullying is a powerful and restorative anthology that amplifies the voices of nurses who faced workplace bullying, yet chose resilience over silence. Within these pages, their stories uncover the unseen wounds behind the scrubs, where whispers, exclusion, and systematic mistreatment tried to dim the light of compassionate hearts. But these nurses did not surrender. From quiet tears in the break room to hard-won triumphs at the bedside, this collection celebrates the courage, purpose, and unwavering care that embody the true spirit of nursing. Whether you are a nurse, a healthcare leader, or someone who has ever felt overlooked, this book will encourage you to rise, advocate for others, and believe that healing is always within reach. Still, I Care. Nurses Rising After Bullying, presented by visionary author Avalon S. Brown. I am thrilled about that book. I really, really am. Still, I care. It made a big
Yes.
difference in my life. Uh, yeah, it made a big difference. Thank you for that one.
Oh, you're welcome.
And North Tunes Woodall, I tell you, he was a guest on the show and he played his guitar for us for a minute.
Yes, he did. Hmm.
He had that thing strapped on him like it was a piece of jewelry or something, you know?
Yes, he loves his guitar.
Yeah, it sure does. All right, tell us about Mary Beale, and we'll bring her in.
Mary Beale, she's a respected leader with 56 years of experience in government and nonprofit resource management.
Oh my
Known
God.
for strategic planning, innovation, and strong leadership, she has consistently driven measurable growth and sustainable results for individuals and organizations alike. In recognition of her lifelong impact, she received the 2024 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, and This Is Your Life, honored for her local Chamber of Commerce. Deeply committed to her community, Mary serves the Cordell Housing Authority and the Chris County Community Collaborative. A passionate genealogist, she enjoys reconnecting families and organization reunions. She is the producer of our Global Family TV show, hosts Women in Ministry TV on Facebook Live, leads a weekly FMCL prayer call, and is an author of 4 books and a contributor to 4 anthologies.
Amen.
Yes.
Y'all, please help me welcome Dr. I call her Dr.
Put
Mary
me.
Beale. Oh,
Thank you, Dr. B.
it is good to
Can you
meet
hear
you.
me?
It's good to meet you. Good to meet you.
Yeah, it's good
Oh
to
my.
be here. It's good to be alive.
Yes,
Amen.
yes, yes.
You said 56 years in service.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me how you can endure 56 years. I work with folks that don't want to last 6 months. How do you
Keep holding on to God's unchanging hand.
Yes, there you go. There
That's
you go.
perfect.
Yes,
That
keep
is
holding
absolutely
on to
perfect.
God's unchanging hand. Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
we work with a couple of nonprofits. Can you tell me what your connection to nonprofit organizations would be?
I have worked with nonprofits, oh gosh, for the last almost 56 years on and off. Uh, After leaving college, or while I was in college, as a matter of fact, I was an intern with a summer intern with the Peace Corps in
Oh,
Washington, D.C. And it was there that I was introduced to another nonprofit. And so it got in my blood at screen, I guess. And so I
Mhm.
continued to work part time with nonprofit. And then I had an opportunity to work full time when the anti poverty legislation went out in the 60s. I worked with an organization called Peace in upstate New York. And it was dealing with uh, those communities that were poverty stricken and trying to, and as a matter of fact, that organization is still in existence. They're still
wow.
functioning. Peace,
Wow.
yes,
That's
Peace
what it is.
Incorporated is still functioning in upstate New York. And so that led me to see the benefits that nonprofits provide to communities and to individuals.
Mhm.
My goodness. I tell you. I worked with nonprofits when I was a teenager because I needed the extracurricular credit to graduate from high school. And I think that's why I work with nonprofits today. Just like you said, you started with one organization and it just stuck in your heart. So kudos for that. Kudos.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. And I'm sure the people that you served benefited and appreciated your service, and
Same
that's
to
what I
you.
found.
Same to you. Same to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, I know Avalon has questions for you, so I'm gonna hush for a minute.
I
I'm just so
know.
excited to meet you. So
I
excited.
know. I know. So tell us about these 4 books you've written.
You know, I'm I'm so honored to have had the opportunity to write, and that God trusted me enough to write my mother's story was my first book, and the title
Oh,
of that book is Luella Campbell Bill, A Force to Reckon With. I'm gonna try and hold it up to the camera. I don't know if you can see it because
Yeah.
of the lighting
put it
here.
in front of you.
Well, yeah, right there.
Yeah, let's see if I'm trying.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. A
Okay,
force to
so
reckon
that's
with.
the first book. She was approaching 100 years, and I was her caregiver at Force to
Mm,
Reckon With. And it was done to celebrate her becoming a centenarian. We had given her a birthday party on her 99th birthday. And so we asked some questions, or I asked some questions, and the responses was so revealing. I say, this got to be a book. And so I progressed in listening to her, and I said, I need to capture this for the next generations. So this book is her life story, abbreviated, I should say, life story, because you can never get one's total life story, especially when you didn't live with them all of their lives. And so you have to say abbreviated life story. So that's what this book is, her abbreviated life story. But it's a history of the family. And you saw in the introduction, you said FMCL. Well, that stands for the families going back to as far as back as we can go in this country on the maternal side. So Fields, my great grandparents were Fields, Frederick and Rachel Fields, and she got to meet Rachel because
mm.
mom told us as we were growing up. When she was 12 years old, great great grandma Rachel Fields was 112. So that longevity piece
Wow.
is something that I was interested in because I did get to know my grandmother. I didn't know my great grandmother, but I got to know my grandmother, and she had insisted when we were young to transfer genealogy information from her Bible to our Bible. So that's how I kind of got involved in this through the maternal lineage.
Mm.
I appreciate the fact that
Yes.
you said they transferred it from one Bible to the next. I know my grandmother's
Yes.
Bible had everything, everybody in it. I hope we continue with that tradition since so many
I
people
was
look at.
reminded, excuse me,
No, go ahead.
I was reminded yesterday that the newer Bibles do not have the genealogy section in them.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And so many people read their Bible on their phones. They don't get the opportunity to turn the page and see who
Mhm.
begat whom in our own families.
Exactly.
Wow. Mm, mm, mm.
So that's what got me started, my mother. And then
Mm.
I was with her transition, and she had asked me about, I guess, about between 3 and 6 months before she transitioned. She had asked this question: Mary, will you help me cross over?
Oh,
I say, help you cross over what? She say, from earth to heaven. So
oh,
she, being the prophet that she was, she knew that I would be with her during that time. So she asked that question. And I said, Mother, I never had to do this before, but I'm sure when the time comes, the Holy Spirit will guide me. And he did. And it's revealed in this book.
oh, how
Help me
beautiful.
cross over from earth to heaven.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Can you
Yeah.
can you maybe read us a portion of that book, a couple of paragraphs or the back cover or
Oh yeah, the back. Oops, excuse me. The back cover. Um, I'll read you. Let's see.
that'd be
I'm getting
wonderful.
nervous doing it. It was just so awesome.
Don't be nervous. We family.
Oh, okay. Well, the acknowledgement, I'll just read a little bit from that in another section. I said, thank to our Heavenly Father for his grace and mercy for allowing the author to be his servant. Thanks also to God for choosing me to be the primary caregiver for this outstanding Christian soldier, Mama Luella Campbell Bill. So
Oh.
then looking over the part that really was impactful to me was being there as she was transitioning.
Oh.
And she transitioned over a period of time. She didn't just okay stop breathing. I started noticing it spiritually and physically. Like Friday night, and she didn't pass to the next Wednesday. I had
Mm.
been volunteering at a nonprofit, and I came in, and my
Hmm.
old was here with mom, and he said, Mama is talking out of her head. I say, she is not talking out of her head. She's having a conversation with God.
Hmm.
So that caught my attention. And continuing on through the weekend, I kept noticing things. Monday morning, she was really in a spiritual zone. And I called a pastor friend of mine over to pray with me and pray for her. And so she observed some of the same things that I was observing. And I and in this book, I have one chapter, Mama's last 2 days on earth.
Oh,
And then
power.
Holy Spirit led me to the scripture in Revelation 21:1, and it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth was passed away, and there was no more sea. I could tell that she was someplace else, and she was trying to make me see heaven. And she was saying, God is way up there. She's seeing through the roof. The roof doesn't have any barrier for her seeing heaven. And she was just saying, He is way up there. And she was trying to make me see heaven. And that was so awesome. And then
That is
added to
beautiful.
that, I thought it was a miracle because as she was transitioning and seeing people, when and the pastor was here by this time, and we noticed mother change. She was like
Hmm.
greeting people on her way to heaven. She was
Oh.
like, I'm happy to see you. And then one time she pulled back, and I said, oh, she's surprised that person ain't. So it was just that kind of expression. So it was just a. I wished I had videotaped it, but I couldn't. I was just awestruck. I could
Yeah.
not even move to get a recorder. So
Yes.
it was just
Yes.
that type of question.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
if you want to pass, let me go to a particular passage
Okay.
that really, I think I wrote it. I know I had it in my.
That is
Uh,
beautiful.
let me just. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You're okay.
It says, "Mom, I'm reading. I wrote it in a different person because it was like I was there as an observer. I was there as a reporter. So I wrote it
Mhm.
from that perspective. Mary recorded Mama's emphatic response. Give it away. Mama's next comment. I'm not going anywhere. Puzzled Mary. Later, its meaning was revealed. That point in time, there the following Thursday. Mary also wrote about Mama's next comment, stated in an excited, commanding tone, look up there. Mama simultaneously pointed towards the ceiling of her bedroom. After Mama repeated the command, look up there, several times, Mary discerned that she had begun her spiritual ascent into heaven.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
So,
She was still mama. She was still
so
telling you what to do.
she was still telling me what to do. She was so alert. What I said is that she appeared to have a PhD in philosophy and speech. She was so articulate. It was just amazing. This 101-year-old woman was so articulate. And if I could have captured it, oh man, it was just awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Thank
Yes. Yeah.
you. Ooh.
Wow.
And so you've written more books, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
T-
I
tell me tell me about one of them.
well, I wrote some. I wrote chapters in anthologies, so I participated in four anthologies. Uh, the first anthology I participated in is called. Let me see if you can see this. Achieving Results.
Mm.
Um, I was invited to participate in this anthology, and what I did is I titled it "Farm Girl Achieving Results." I was born on a farm, so and I just wrote about myself. I say I just read the very first couple of sentences. Say, whoever imagined that a South Georgia farm girl with nine sisters and brothers would one day work at the Pentagon, live and work in Africa, Europe, and Iraq, or experience international travel to 30 plus countries, including Spain and Russia, Italy and Brazil. So that's Farm Girl Achieving Results.
Wow.
Mm.
That's
Then I
something.
also
Isn't
invited
it?
to, to participate in a another anthology, and it's titled Unknown Battlefields.
Mm.
Mm,
If soldiers, these are a group of soldiers that wrote these chapters in this book. I was maybe one or the only civilian, I can't remember who were asked, but I had spent 27 years working for the Department of Defense. I worked for the Navy. I started my career with the Navy and I progressed to Army and then to DOD, Department of Defense. And as a Department of Defense civilian, I worked in Europe, Iraq, and throughout the US. And my title of the chapter that I wrote is The Other Side of War. It's the title I gave that chapter
Mm.
because that's what the Holy Spirit had given me some years ago, The Other Side of War. And I started it with a quote by George Santana and said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Condemned in the sense that the horrors of the past are repeated. So a real sense of history is a good thing and is best developed by an in context approach to an event. And then
mm,
it goes on to say that former Secretary of State George C. Marshall stated in a speech in 1947, I need not tell you, gentlemen, that the world situation is very serious.
mm-hmm.
That must be apparent to all intelligent people. I
Mm,
think one difficulty is that the problem is one of such enormous complexity. The mass of facts presented to the public by the press, newspaper, magazine, television, internet, and radio make it exceedingly difficult for the man in the street to reach a clear appraisal of this situation.
ooh, how prophetic
Wow.
that is.
Yes.
Looking at what we're going
Yes,
through right now. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
word.
exactly. Unknown
Yeah.
battlefields.
Yes.
Then I also was invited to participate since I had served as a caregiver on more than one occasion. I was asked to participate in a anthology, a caregiver's expression, and this
Mm,
uh, was a group of caregivers telling their stories. And of course, as usual, I talk about mama.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
talk about mama, and I also talk about one of my mother's friends because I became her caregiver. So uh, this is the story of a force to reckon with because I had two forces to reckon with, mama and her friend, Mother Lucille Shazer, who lived to be 109. And
Wow.
so I had several centenarians to learn from and to gain wisdom from.
Wow. That's incredible. And
And go ahead.
No, we have a question that somebody just texted us, um, and I'm trying to understand it. Uh, how do you how do you know what to write in your book when you're talking about someone else? And do
Uh,
you need their permission to write about them?
well, you need their permission if they're alive.
Okay.
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 And, but I got the permission to write my mother's book. She even
Mhm.
read the draft before it was, I don't know, when she transitioned, it was at a publisher who was assisting me. So, and she said, my mother said to me, that's about right when
Oh,
she
there
read the
you
book.
go. There you go.
Mhm.
She said, that's about right. And what happened years later during COVID, I was visiting her friend. That's her friend there of over 80 years.
Oh,
I was
goodness.
visiting her
Wow.
and I meant she was asking me questions. She said, "Who do you know that I know?" And I mentioned one of my mother's friends. And she said, "That's my cousin." I said,
Oh,
"Han, you're her cousin." Her nickname was Han. She said, "Yeah, that's my cousin." And she said, "She's the one that introduced me to the Bill family."
wow.
So we got into a conversation. I said, "Would you like to know more?" I said, "Because Han is in my mother's book." Her name was Lucille Dixon. Her cousin was also named Lucille, but her nickname was Han. I said, "Well, she's in my book." And Mother Shazer said to me, "I want to see it." I have a video of her when she first saw my mother's book. And she
Wow.
was reading and flipping through the book, and she was saying, mm. And then I asked her the question, Mother Shazer, would you like for me to write a book about you? She said, "What would you say?" I say, at that time she was 107. I said, at 107, I got a whole lot to say about you. And so we just interact. And then this is the result, her book, How to Live
Wonderful.
Well
Nice.
Past
Yes.
100 Years.
That
Wow.
is wonderful. Wonderful. Listen,
So that's
Sister
how
Mary,
this book.
I want to put you backstage for just a little bit. We're going to bring you back in if you can stay with us. I just want to give our viewers time to text us their questions. So I'm going to put you backstage for just a bit, and then we're going to take a quick break before Mr. Rich comes to join us. He's just about ready to be here. And don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of Books and Besties in just a minute. Divinely chosen, the Lord God with a master plan. Dr. Doretha Smith's book has an inspiring message of faith, purpose, and divine guidance through heartfelt reflections and spiritual insight. She reminds readers that God's plan is always perfect, even when life feels uncertain. This book is a call to trust in His timing, follow His directions, and embrace the unique calling He has placed upon your life. With wisdom grounded in scripture and personal testimony, Dr. Smith empowers you to step boldly into your God-given destiny, knowing you have been divinely chosen for a purpose greater than yourself. Divinely Chosen, the Lord God with the Master Plan, written by Dr. Doretha Smith. Search for Divinely Chosen Lord Master Plan on Amazon. And don't forget to leave a review. Every woman has a room. Every story builds the house. Rooms Inside Her, an anthology. Rooms Inside Her will be a powerful anthology that explores the deeply personal yet universally relatable stories of women from all walks of life. Purpose and impact is to celebrate the diverse voices of women and their experiences, regardless of background. Create a community of shared experiences, sparking conversations around identity, womanhood, healing, and triumph. Submission deadline is August 15th, 2025. Submission fee is $250. Send an email to sisterbatten@gmail.com, sisterbatten@gmail.com. Rooms inside her. Rooms Inside Her has extended their deadline for entry. The stories that were coming in were just so powerful, and people were asking, did I miss the deadline? So they've extended the deadline. So don't be discouraged. You can still be a part of that anthology. And I just want to be sure I point that out. So, all right, Avalon's coming back in. And Avalon, can you tell us about Mr. Rich Feidelberg? I hope I pronounced his name correctly.
Yeah, I was hoping I don't pronounce it wrong. So I'm just going to say his first name. He can let us know how to pronounce his last name. But
Okay.
Rich is a fantasy author,
Oh.
a poet, a playwright, map nerd, gamer, and a comic book lover.
Oh.
Yes, author of the fantasy series The Gamut Trilogy. He has written both fiction and nonfiction for many years. Prior to starting his novel writing, Rich wrote plays, poetry, bibliographical anecdotes, blog posts, and instrumental texts. Most recently, he began to chronicle the history of comic books. He's an avid map collector, and he believes all books benefit from a map. And is a web designer, a freelance technical consultant, and a technical writer. He grew up on a steady diet of comic books, science fiction, and fairy tales of all kinds, and has been weaving his own tales since elementary school. In high school, he started gaming and discovered his love of fantasy and map making.
Wow.
Yes.
Everybody, let's welcome Mr. Rich to the show.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hold on a second. Let me do this. There we go.
Yes, there you go.
There we go. The lighting in this room is a little weird sometimes. And the sun is playing hide and seek this morning.
Yes.
What city and state are you in?
I'm outside of Boston in Massachusetts.
Okay. Ooh, it's colder there than New Jersey.
Yeah, we had a bit of a warm up recently where all the snow melted, thank God. And then it cooled off. And right now we're having a cold snap. A cold front came through. It's windy. And we're going to have rain in a couple of days, which may just flood my basement.
Oh, no.
Well, it's that time of year. It's March, the month of mud.
See, I told you.
It's the month
I
of
just
mud.
told Angie that.
But I've seen my first robin, which is the sign spring is coming. We have small shoots up in the garden. So there are flowers that are alive. That's promising better days. And the second half of March hopefully will be better than the first half, which is to say warmer, as we get to April.
Good for you.
We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Good for you.
And by the way, you got my last name right. It's Feidelberg.
Feidelberg.
Oh, okay.
You did.
Okay.
You did.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, before we start with your interview, can you tell me? I want to put your contact information on screen so people can have it. Do you have a website or an email you prefer?
Yes, I have both. My website is my last name, Feidelberg.net.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And my email is my first initial and my last name, rfeidelberg@gmail.com.
Got it.
Okay. And people can go to my website to see everything I've done that I'm selling currently. Or if they have questions for me, I'm more than happy to talk to readers about just about anything they want to talk about, and they can email me or text me through one of my social medias. There are contact links on my website on the contact. Is it contact me? It's either contact me or contact us. I forget now. But there's a contact page where I list, my Facebook link, my my email, some other things, and they can find me that way as well.
Got it. My first question, I know Avalon has questions, but my first question is, what is a map nerd?
A map? Just a map lover. Is a nerd. Any nerd is just somebody who is, an avid has an avid interest in something. And I've loved maps my whole life.
Really?
So you collect different maps? Is that what that is?
I have a collection of old maps, particularly old maps.
Oh.
Particularly old maps, which are very interesting because they show our understanding of the world at that time the map was made.
Oh.
First maps, for example, the very first maps just show the Mediterranean because that's where civilization started for many folks, and they didn't know about the rest of the world. And so you have North Africa and Southern Europe, and that's it. And it's a very different view than what you will get today. And when I saw that the first time I saw one of those maps, I'm going, wow. And it became clear to me that's reflective of our understanding of the world at that time. But if I read any story of any kind, many of them have maps that are I'm fascinated just to look through. If you pick up a book from The Wizard of Oz, for example, or the Oz series, you will find all kinds of things on the maps on those pages that you don't see in the first book, but you'll see. There were a series of 14, I think, he wrote ultimately.
Wow.
Yeah, they all come up. They come up later. They were all reissued. I forget, like in the 80s or something, which I picked them up at that time. And they all have maps of Oz in as reflected in the entire series, and it's very interesting because what you see, most people know is the movie, but there's a lot more to it. And going through the map, you see all kinds of other little bits that are like, oh, isn't this all interesting? So and I have a friend of mine, and I forget who did this. One year as a present got me a book of maps of fantasy, imaginary places or something. I forget the title of it exactly, but it's a book of maps from different made up stories. So you've got things like Oz is in there, but I think Middle Earth from Tolkien is in there. I think Hearn from McCaffrey is in there, and a bunch of other stuff. And it's all very interesting to page through that. And it's one of my most treasured books because it speaks to me in a way that many things don't.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely fascinating.
Right.
Ooh.
I know, right? So tell us about this Gamut trilogy.
The Gamut trilogy, yeah, my fantasy series. That's the ebook version. It's a series of 3 ebooks. In paper, it's actually 8 books because the publisher told me he can't print. The ebooks are so big that he can't possibly print them because he goes through Amazon to print stuff. There are limitations on that mechanism. So he can't print those books in paper that way. So you'd have to split them up. They were originally written as a series of 8 when I first wrote them. And so you'd have to print them as in that form instead.
Did you say a series of 8?
It's a series of 8 in paper.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, that's why I smushed them together to make 3, because I figured people could get through, a set of 3 books, as opposed to most people, if they start on the paper series, they lose track after about the 3rd or 4th book as to which book did I read last. And I know that. ultimately what's going to happen for the paper series is I'm going to smush them into 4 books instead of 3, because I found that I can probably probably can get those out through Amazon, and they'll be big as phone books, but that at least they'll be out in paper, and people should be able to keep track of what they've read. And most people who read it like what they've read. I get compliments on them all the time by readers.
Wow.
Particularly when if I follow up after them, or if I know them personally and I follow up and say, well, what did you think? And they say, oh, this is good stuff. I said, oh, good.
We have a question that just came through text. Why science fiction? What brought you to love science fiction?
Oh, well, that goes back to I grew up on Star Trek, and I'm talking the original Captain Kirk Star Trek.
Yeah.
So I've been following Star Trek since the mid-'60s when I was a little boy. I think it's interesting to speculate about the future and where we're going. Not that I think Star Trek is where we're going, because some of that technology isn't even possible. I don't think. But I write science fiction myself, speculating on what will happen when we finally leave this star system and go to the next. And so I have a series of stories on the Centauri system, which is only 4 light years from here. It's a trinary system, so I postulated that there's a planet on the second sun called Centauri B that maybe we could set up a colony on. And I chose that because I think Mars has been done to death by people like by Bradbury and writers of the 50s, and there's no point. And what they postulated, while it reads well, they're good stories, I don't think that's going to match the reality. I think if you've seen The Martian, that movie with I forget who's in that, that's going to be more like what we actually find.
Okay.
I forget the actor who's in that, who's well known. I forget his name. So I said, okay, Mars has been done to death. Let's go a little farther out, and the next likely place to stop for us, assuming we get that far, that we could possibly get to in a person's lifetime, would be Alpha Centauri. So I said, okay, well, I'll set some stories there, and I have a few short stories in that vein. And then I started a novel based on those short stories, which I'm still working on.
Okay.
And that was Matt Damon.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That was
Yeah.
That was a good movie. That was well done.
Yeah. All right, I want to continue this conversation, but we gotta play just a couple of quick videos, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of Books and Besties. Divinely chosen, the Lord God with a master plan. Dr. Doretha Smith's book has an inspiring message of faith, purpose, and divine guidance through heartfelt reflections and spiritual insight. She reminds readers that God's plan is always perfect, even when life feels uncertain. This book is a call to trust in His timing, follow His directions, and embrace the unique calling He has placed upon your life. With wisdom grounded in scripture and personal testimony, Dr. Smith empowers you to step boldly into your God-given destiny, knowing you have been divinely chosen for a purpose greater than yourself. Divinely Chosen, the Lord God with the Master Plan, written by Dr. Doretha Smith. Search for Divinely Chosen Lord Master Plan on Amazon. And don't forget to leave a review. Mommy, why do I have a cold? Written by Avalon Soulette. Brown. Dedications. This book is dedicated to all of my grandchildren. You are always coming to hug and kiss Nana, especially when you have runny noses, sneeze, or cough. Nana loves you. Let's work together to keep the germ population down.
Mommy, where do colds come from? Why do I have one?
Mommy, why do I have a cold? Written by Avalon Soulette Brown. Narrated by Sonia B., Sandra B., produced for audiobook by NGB Productions, and narrated by me, the Queen Bee, Angie.
Wake up and turn your Saturday all the way up with Mornings with Angie B. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. Angie B is bringing you the hottest and newest Christian hip-hop music with a message, beats that bless, and vibes that lift your spirit. Whether you're getting ready for the day or cruising through the weekend, Angie B's got your soundtrack, faith, fire, and flavor. Don't miss Mornings with the Queen Angie B every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on City Worship Radio.
Shout out to City Worship Radio. I had a great show this morning. It was so much fun. I have to admit, I have just as much enjoyment from producing the show as I do listening to it. So shout out to all the artists that submit their music to air on the show. If you are in that genre, holy hip hop, Christian, and gospel rap, you can email your MP3, your music, to meangiebee@gmail.com. That's meangiebee@gmail.com. Got a couple of shout outs. Thanks to those that are watching us on YouTube and over on Facebook. We appreciate you watching. You can join us. Search for Angie B Productions on Facebook and you can see us live. If you are watching the replay, please put in the comments where you're watching from, what city, state, what country, and it would be good to hear from you. Also, Atlas the Wonder Dog is on an assignment today. He left his little green blanket back there, his little nap blanket, but he's on a different assignment today. And so somebody just texted me, where's Atlas? So that's where Atlas is. But shout out to Francina Williams for watching us and for giving us hearts. And shout out to Wild Flavors. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the hearts. We appreciate you. We do. All right, Avalon, come on back in. And I know Sister Waletta is waiting to be brought in, but we have a question that came in from Mary Beal. So Mary, I'm going to bring you back on stage. So thank you for waiting, because questions always come in after people have left. And so thank you so much.
My pleasure.
The question is, when you write a book about another person who is deceased, do I need permission from their family? When I write a book about someone who is deceased, do I need permission from their family? Would you happen to know the answer to that?
I would give you what I have learned, but things I don't keep up with the laws on publication in terms of the rights of ancestors, or right of descendants, because you're talking about the person, and that person cannot give it to you because they're dead. But if you are writing something, I would encourage a person to get with the family. I have a situation coming up where a person asks me to write about their life, and I have gone to the family, but I have to go and get it in writing
Yes.
because I will do that because I respect the family. I know the family, but
Yeah.
the person themselves cannot give you that. So you're kind of safe, but I would still respect the family if I know them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to bring Mr. Rich back in here. And Sister Mary, if you have any questions for Mr. Rich, now's your time to ask.
No.
Hey, Mr. Rich.
Yes, I do have a question for Mr. Rick Fighterberg because I like maps too. I don't collect them, but I love to travel. And when I first
Cool.
started driving, I had tons of road maps.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with GPS, maps are becoming, especially for road travel, is almost becoming obsolete. What do you think of that?
Yeah. I used to keep a book of maps in my car, which I stopped doing that after we got GPS because I don't need them anymore. It's rather sad. On the other hand, um, printed maps are dated. Are only good, until they decide to change the roads or add stuff. And GPS is more or less up to date all the time, so that's a plus. Um, the book of maps I have, um, I specifically got for this area, the Boston area, to make sure that the edges of the maps tell me where to go, which map to go to when I get off the edge of the map that I'm looking at, um, so that I don't get lost. But it really requires, it's a two-person job because I can't use them book of maps while driving. That's not
Right.
safe.
Right.
Whereas GPS, I can glance down or glance over to the console if it's built into my car briefly to make sure that I've taken the right turn,
Mhm.
and then keep going. So it's a lot safer. So I think it's better to have GPS. It's unfortunate that those kinds of maps are obsolete. I have a lot of also old maps that used to that I really associate with my father. That the kind that you fold up and stick in the glove box. I have a lot of those that aren't there anymore because I don't need them there anymore. I have
Yeah.
GPS on my phone. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I don't know my north, south, east, or west. But when I had a map, at least it could it could
Well,
tell me if I turn this way, I'm going south. If I turn this way, but without a map, I'm just north is up and south
yeah.
is down.
Well, I can get lost in a paper bag.
Yeah.
And I say that because I once flew into, I think it was LAX. It was late at night. I didn't know the area, and it was dark. And I found myself going down the wrong way down a one-way street,
Oh,
Wow.
honey.
which I only discovered after I saw the one-way. I passed the one-way sign, and I saw the headlights of an oncoming car coming towards me. And I'm in a rental, mind you, because I've flown in, and I have to get to my hotel. I was there for a job interview. This was years ago, back in college. And that's all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get to, and I clearly took a wrong turn. So I sympathize if my sense of direction is poor.
Thank you for that. I don't feel alone.
Right,
Yeah,
me either.
Do you have copies of your book that you can show us?
not with me here. No, nothing current. I don't believe. Let me just take a quick look. See at my bookcase under my desk here. No, but possibly next time you go to commercial, I can go downstairs and grab a couple copies of stuff.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds
Okay.
good.
I have one question. I see that you are doing a chronicle of comic books.
Yeah, that's not quite correct. It's a chronology. It's really focuses on two things. The comic books published year by year, just so that I could keep track of stuff because I'm a comic book reader, and then I also focus on comic book superheroes, which are my favorite kind of thing to read. And I've been interested in this stuff since I was a kid. because I've been reading comic books since I was a kid. And it turns out that I'm not the only one who has an interest in that, because even though I started this for myself during COVID when I wanted to keep busy and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do, writer events anymore because there weren't any. I decided I would actually try to sell them. I've got at least one person that I know of who constantly buys the volumes that I put out in that series. So somebody else must be interested in the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's mostly for historical purposes, because I find it confusing, and there are a number of things that I found surprising, like the company that was Marvel Comics before it was Marvel Comics in the 60s nearly went out of business in about 57, 58, which I didn't know, because they changed distributors, and for a while they couldn't get their books to the newsstand, because that's, at the time, that's the only place you could, because the distributor didn't like comic books. The one they picked didn't want to promote, or maybe it was they were distributing other comic books, and they thought it was a competition with the things they were already selling, so they had to scramble. And I'm going, wow, they nearly shot themselves in the foot and killed themselves, because obviously if you don't sell product, you go out of business. That's just
right.
The way capitalism is, right? So, and I didn't know that until I did the research about it. And I'm going, wow. More recently, particularly since the 80s, the whole industry has gotten very complex and very, very complicated. And so I'm finding that doing this helps me sort out, okay, what have they actually published, and what characters are there, and who are they? Because I don't particularly care for the Marvel movies at all. Because I'm a more of a purist, and I grew up on, the characters from the 60s.
Yeah.
So
it's a little different. Okay.
They had to change the stories for the modern audience, which I understand, but it's not what I want to see. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. We're going to put you backstage so you can go and grab a copy of your book. And Sister Mary, if you can stick around with us just a little bit longer, I want you to meet Wyletta Mason Dunn. So, Avalon, tell us about Sister Dunn.
Wyletta Mason Dunn is an accomplished best-selling author who is most passionate about spreading good news of the gospel through her writing. Her debut in God-fearing Christian, Wyletta uses her mastery and art of writing to give testimony to God's love for us. She has written and published 9 novels, with many more in the works.
Welcome to the show, Sister Dunn. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're on mute. Yeah. Let's see if I can help you get off mute. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Welcome to the show, dear.
I can't hear you.
Oh, we hear you.
I can't hear you.
Let's see. Is that backwards? Yeah, it probably looks backwards.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What
her mic.
Let me see. Can you hear us now?
Okay.
You can hear us?
I can't hear you.
Oh no. Okay. Go out of this. Well, it's not going to do me any good to tell her to go out and come back in.
Because she can't hear us. Yeah, it's probably her mic.
Let me see. Can you hear us now? Is that any better? Can you? Nope. Can't hear us now. Doggone it. Okay, we're going to go take a commercial break and see if we can get her microphone together, and we'll be back in just a bit. DJ Shaheem Care Mix Edits. Explore innovative fusion music of hip-hop, house, Afro beats, and gospel genres all rolled into one perfect mix. Visit the world of a gospel praise experience as DJ Shaheem shares his new edit packs, filled with a remarkable experience. Enhance and elevate your worship experience through praise as we embark on a new and unique purpose to glorify Jesus and what he has been able to do in our lives. If you are looking for a different vibe in your worship and praise experience, this will definitely keep you moving and inspire you throughout your day and week. These mix and edit packs are not only for DJs and radio stations, but are meant for gospel music lovers as well. Take time out and visit DJ Shaheem Care Mix Edits for your music source. Support the ministry as we reach others and draw them closer to Christ. Stay blessed, safe, and encouraged. DJ Shaheem Mix Edits. .sellfy.store.
Hey, what's good, man? It's your boy T Horn.
I'm that new breed.
And see what I am? It's something the world has never seen, and something the fake Christian can only dream.
I'm that new breed.
Yeah. Introduce y'all to something new, not a stereotype.
I'm that new breed.
I'm rebuilt, remade, not fake.
I'm that
not
new
fake.
breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. I'm that new breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. Descended from that old seed. New breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. I'm that new breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. New breed. I'm on that true seed. I wanna be.
I'm really excited to introduce you to the YEP program, YEAP, Youth Entrepreneur Author Program. We are now enrolling for our summer virtual course. All of our courses regarding YEP are virtual, where we encourage the children and the teens, we encourage them to become authors in an anthology. Say that 3 times fast. In an anthology. And so we were honored to work with some elementary school students recently, and now they are published authors. And we're looking for new students. So if you know someone that's 18 and under that you believe would benefit from becoming an author and an entrepreneur, then please get in touch with us. We'd love to work with them. We also teach you how to become an entrepreneur based on being an author. You know, you buy your books at wholesale, you sell them at retail, you don't go shopping until you replace that inventory. And so that's part of the YEP program. All right, Mr. Rich, we're going to bring you back in so you can show us copies of your book. And then Avalon, we're bringing you in. Mary, we'll be bringing you in a minute. And so is Sister Waletta. There you go.
Well,
let's see your book before we get.
I grabbed a bunch because I have a lot.
Oh.
I grabbed a bunch. So this is, let's see, we'll have to hold it up like this so I can't see the screen.
Back up just a little bit. Back up some. Yeah. There we go. Bless the lady.
This is my this is a novel I released last year, along with this fantasy novel, which is also part romance. A sequel to this is now being written.
Oh.
Okay. Because I really enjoyed writing this book. Then I realized there's more here. Then I have a bunch of smaller books. Most of these are short stories. For example, let me see. This is my science fiction collection.
Space and speculation.
Okay. Yep. This is my fantasy collection.
Oh, Magic and Melee.
Yeah, Melee. Yep. I have a collection. I have a novella on superheroes. This is the first book.
Oh, wow.
There's a sequel to this, which I just finished the first draft of, which will be coming out later this year, hopefully. This is that's set just before the Second World War. I have a bunch of suspense and thriller stuff here.
Wow.
That's partially Halloween themed. This one has been translated into Brazilian Portuguese because somebody contacted me to do that for free, and I said, sure, anything for free.
Yes.
This is a sampler of a variety of things, many of them fables, but not all of them.
Nice.
There's at least one science fiction story in there. That's popular. I have a bunch of what I call strange stories here, which is my version of horror, which is not really scary horror, but it's just more bizarre Twilight Zone kind of stuff.
I don't know about that. Twilight Zone scared me as a child. It was
no. Twilight Zone. The Outer Limits used to scare me as a child. Not the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And then lastly, my last collection of short stories. This one is more of a sampler where it's many tales retold. That's why it's called double. It's a double dose. You get this. It's the second time around. I've retold Red Riding Hood story, which I did for a writing group online that I'm a part of, and then they changed their direction, and I didn't need it for them. And I've retold a few other stories that I've read, and then I threw in a few other things that I wrote that never saw the light of day. So that's just a sampling. The fantasy novels that we were talking about, there's just too many of those to lug up, so I didn't grab those. I do also have, since we talked about it, over here.
Okay,
this is the comic book series. Series. That's the first volume. It's up to eight books I think have been released, and the 9th one I just finished, which I'll release probably later this year.
Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna put you backstage for just a minute so we can get to Sister Dunn, and then we'll be back. We've got 3 or 4 text messages that just came in, so one of them may be a question for you if you can hang out with us a little bit.
Sure.
Thanks. Okay, Sister Dunn is back. Let's see if she can hear us. Can you hear us?
Yay!
Oh, that's good. Sometimes going out and coming back in makes all the difference in the world.
That's exactly what I had to do. Yes.
Now, what city and state are you in?
I'm in Wendell, North Carolina, which is about 15 minutes from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
It's beautiful weather here today. I mean, it's it's nice. I'll see if I can get outside later on today. Yes. So, well, let me just thank you guys for the invitation, the offer to be here. I appreciate it. It's afternoon. Good afternoon, Avalon and the Queen Bee. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for accepting it. Yes.
Tell us something about you that was not included in your bio that Avalon read.
Okay. Well, I'm an avid reader. I'm pretty sure that was in there, but I've been writing since forever. I grew up in a home full of writers, and I grew up in a home of ministers and writers and singers. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a singer, but I can write. And I consider that my ministry. So
yes,
a lot of people don't know that. I did try one time as a child. I wanted to sing so bad. I wanted that to be my gift. And so I don't know what made me raise my hand to lead a song, but that was the wrong thing to do. And we still talk about that now. So I would never do that again.
That is adorable.
Yeah. So tell us about what you've written about.
Okay. My latest book is The Promise of Us. There you go. It's the third in a series, a romance series, and excuse me, romance series. I found, well, when I began writing, I wasn't writing romance. I actually wrote a book that was a tribute to my sister. My oldest sister and I were born on the same day, 20 years apart.
Oh.
Wow.
hmm when I was 18 months old, my mother passed away. And when I was 9 years old, my father passed away.
Mm.
My sister took me in and raised me like I was her daughter. And so
Oh.
Okay.
my first book was titled More Than Sisters, and it was a
Oh.
tribute to her and her husband and how they sacrificed everything to make sure that I was taken care of. And I was listening to Mary Beale. I think she mentioned something about meeting someone who I think she said about her mother, where I wrote the story about my sister and I gave it to her before I published it. I said, this is our story. And I can't tell my story without telling yours. And so I won't publish it if you don't want me to. And
Oh.
she read it and she agreed that I could publish it. And then she went home to be with the Lord almost 3 years ago.
Mm.
And it's a blessing because she was able to read the story and she knew it was
Mhm.
my tribute to her. And she was also able to go to one of the book events that I did.
Oh.
So that was, I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful. But after that, I always like to read love stories, and I'm talking about sweet love stories. I'm not talking about you know, the heavy stuff. It's just the sweet stuff. And in my stories, um, I talk about not just the love, but the trials and tribulations that people go through because we all do. And so The Promise of Us is the third in the series of books. It's about a couple, Liam and Lorraine. And in this book, they're headed to the wedding. It's a Christmas wedding, and it's like weeks before the wedding, and everything seems perfect. The flowers are picked, the cake is ordered, and their future feels certain. But life has a way of testing even the strongest promises,
Mhm.
and so
Wow.
they have to worry about that. The wedding approaches, and there's family tension, and there's a major career opportunity for Lorraine, and they have to rethink what forever means to them.
Oh, that sounds like a good book.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
Liam is wrestling with painful questions that's connected to his birth father, and the story just becomes about the two of them learning what love is and what it means, and
Mhm.
navigating together through difficult situations.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, listen, before Avalon asks her next question, how do you want people to contact you? Do you have a website or an email you want
I
me to put on
do.
the screen? Okay, I'm
I
ready.
do. All right. My website is it's wmasondunn.com. And the you said the email is walletadunn@gmail.com. Either way. There you
Okay,
go. Thank you.
got you up there. Okay, Avalon.
So I see you wrote 9 novels. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about some of the other books?
Okay. Well, I spoke earlier about the first one, which was More Than Sisters. Then I like to write about issues that people have in life and how they overcome the obstacles. I wrote a book about the school to prison pipeline, where a young girl was I think that she was just in the wrong place. She was in the wrong place at the right time, and then at the wrong time, and she got caught up in that piss. And for those who don't know what that is, um, it's like a imaginary pipeline for schools for children to get from school to prison. And yes, it's a terrible thing. If you look at the statistics, you'll see that the majority of the kids are minority, or they have some kind of issue, sometimes mental issues, and those kids are just tossed aside in the school system, or um, let's say, for instance, in my story, she was caught with what was labeled a weapon. What she
Mm,
actually had was a fingernail file that she accidentally brought to school.
Mm.
mm.
But it didn't matter how what the circumstances were. She had the weapon. It was zero tolerance, and
Wow.
the circumstances were that she was automatically sent to detention. And so
Ooh,
that
Lord.
I know, because yeah, I know, and that
Mm.
happens so often. Once I started to do the research on the story, I was really surprised at how often something like that happens. I don't, I don't know the answer because I know that we have to have consequences for things, and that it's a serious thing. I just don't know what the answer is. My book is about one girl's story who was set up to go into college and have a wonderful lifetime with choices. And because she made one small mistake, and it was an accident that she brought it,
Mm.
she was sent to the detention center. And then the trajectory of her life changed. So I like to write stories about that. I wrote another, that one's called The Pipeline to Prison. And then
Wow.
I wrote another story about women in the workplace and the issues that we have, not only sexual harassment, but female issues that we have. I mean, a lot of times we have to call out because of pain of endometriosis and things
Mm.
like that. So we talk about that in that story, and it's about these three women, and then one of them is caught up in a sexual triangle there,
Oh,
and how
Lord.
they get through it, and so,
Wow.
and then finally I found romance, and
Mhm.
then started writing about romance, and so that's where I am now. I think I'm hooked.
On the
Yes,
romance.
yes.
Good for you. Good for
Mm.
you. You can really
I
crank out some
Yeah,
books once you get hooked
I
to the
Yes,
know.
genre.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. The
Different
stories
thoughts
just
and
keep
stuff.
coming.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
going to bring author Mary Beal back on stage
Okay.
so you guys can meet each other. Uh,
Hi.
Mary, you're on mute. I think there
Yes.
you go.
Yes. Hello. Hi, hello,
Hi.
Wallet. I was
Hi.
admiring you write it. You have a
Thank you.
variety, and I like that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've actually met you once and in Houston 2 years ago at an event. And I didn't, come up and introduce myself, but I saw you there. So,
Oh, yes,
yeah.
several years ago, I was in Houston. Yes.
Yes. Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at God bringing y'all back together again.
Yes.
That is good. That is good. Now, my next question for you, Warletta, is um, how how do you know when a series is finished? And that's the same question for Rich. Once you answer, how when you're writing a series, how do you know when you're done? You've done 3 or 4. How can you tell?
I, I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me, Avalon?
Yeah.
Waletta, can you hear Avalon?
I, I'm sorry. Should I go out and
Yeah.
come back in?
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Okay, we having technical difficulties today, but that's all right. We're not gonna
That's
let it get
okay.
us down. Rich, let me bring you in again so we can ask, how do you know when a series is finished?
Depends on the series. For my
Okay.
fantasy series, I knew it was a series of 8 up front. For the things that I'm currently doing, let me think. I have a series of well, for the fantasy romance series that I'm currently doing. Once I realized that was going to be a series, because I didn't start it thinking that it was going to be a series, I said, "Oh, it's." Once I figured out what the theme, the common thread was, I said that's going to be a series of 12, probably.
Mm.
And then let's see, what else do I have? For the superhero stories, I don't know how many books I'm going to write. Each, that could probably rattle on indefinitely, because that's the nature of superhero stuff. Although I'm sure I'll hit a stopping point at some point.
Yeah.
So it really will
Art
depend. It really
depends
will
on the
depend on
series.
the series. I find
Yeah,
that
I think
true of
so.
other
Yeah.
things. You know, if you read a mystery, um, some mysteries, usually they're thematic, and there's only so many. I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, but eventually, the detective dies, and that's the end of this. That's the end of them. Uh, so
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I think that too with the series because I'm doing a nursing series.
hmm
So I know I'm going to end up with 7 books because my series is based on guides and the roles that I have held in nursing.
Yep, yep. Um, yeah, and I just also, as I just thought about that, I have a series of writer guides that I just started putting out. There's only going to be about 3 of those because um, there are just some kinds of guides I don't really want to try to create because the market's full of that kind of stuff. So I focused on world building, for example, which is something that I have to do as a fantasy writer, or character creation, which every writer needs. And just this morning, I was working on my general advice for people getting started, things that I didn't know that I've learned since I started doing this, and I've been doing this now for 15 years or so,
Hmm.
in earnest, with my first fantasy novel. That I didn't know that I've learned, that I think that I see other people asking, let's say, like in my writers group or when I do an event, people ask me these questions that I thought I would just collect and put together and say, look, here's some information that you might like to know up front because everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to write a novel, it's going to be great. And they never think about the fact that it's a business and that you have to think about, costs
Right,
and how you're going to
right.
sell stuff and how you're going to get out to readers and all that other
You're
stuff.
right. You're right.
And you really need to do that. I might not have gone this way if I had known some of the things I know now. But
Okay.
I love writing, so
Mhm.
I'm sort of stuck.
Mm.
And that's part of the reason why we have the YEP program for students,
Yeah,
Youth
that
Entrepreneur Author Program.
that
We
sounds like
try
a
to,
really good deal for young people.
yeah, we
Mhm.
try to
Yes.
get. There's even one session where we have authors like you that record, a
That'd be
statement that
awesome.
we can provide, and
That's
that
one of my
helps.
big things is that I like to I'm trying to give back and mentor now because I'm more or less at that stage of my life, and so there are young people who this is through the website of LinkedIn, which is a job site for people who don't know. They there are students who are posting questions there through some mechanism that they have, and I signed up to answer those questions when they're about things that I know about. So occasionally I give advice to young people who are, let's say, juniors or seniors in high school, trying to figure out what their college career is going to be like, or they're in college and they were figuring out what jobs they're going to get,
Mm-hmm.
about what to do in a writing context. And I like to do that because they ought to know the things that I've learned so
Right,
that they can avoid maybe some of my pitfalls. I
right,
mean, they haven't
right.
been uh, showstoppers by any stretch because I'm
Okay,
resilient and I
okay.
problem solve and I figure ways around stuff. But it would have been nice to know some of these things, and some of that's the result of technology changes, which was out of anybody's control, and some of it isn't.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
I got you.
So,
Okay, we're gonna put you backstage for just a little bit, and Avalon, let's see if Waletta can hear us. Can you hear us? Okay now? No, not yet. No.
Mm.
Okay, gonna put her backstage again, and we'll try it again. Can you tell us about Alfred Muller? Alfred is waiting to join us today.
Yes. Okay, Alfred Muller is a crafter of Gothic tales. He's most known for his Water Crystal series, a contemporary fantasy story blending supernatural elements with occult lore. He has various short stories exploring other elements of supernatural as well as high fantasy. For a younger audience, they can check out Deem Tale, a portal fantasy exploring the adventures of dreams. When not writing, Alfred enjoys reading, watching hockey, and spending time with his family. He grew up in New York, but he now lives in Tennessee with his family.
Oh, goodness. Welcome to the show, Alfred.
Yes,
Welcome to the
from
show.
all
Hey,
over.
thanks for having me, guys.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
thanks for being here.
No
Um,
problem.
I am excited to know that there's another transplant somewhere. People
Yes.
tend to stay where they are, but what encouraged your move?
So my aunt lived in Oklahoma, and I have a large family, so plane tickets were extremely expensive. So we would drive down and kind of take like a longer vacation. So part of it would be the trip down would be part of the vacation. So we stopped in Tennessee, and I just fell in love. I was like, because again, growing up in New York, it's like concrete jungle. So when you get to Tennessee and there's like this huge highway with all these cars driving by, yet you're surrounded by mountains and forest, I was just like, this is awesome.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. You hear that, folks? You don't have to stay where you are. Go experience something
Yes.
else.
Stretch your legs, get out there.
Yep, yep. All right. I know Avalon has a couple questions for you, but first, let me put your contact information on the screen. Do you have a website or an email that our audience can use to reach you?
Yeah, so Alfred Muller 44 at Gmail is my email address. Feel free to reach out. And then my website is alfredmullerbooks.com.
Okay, I got you ready. Got you ready. Go ahead, Avalon. Take it away.
So he know what I want to know about this Gothic tales.
Yeah.
It's so that's one of the things that's so interesting when you're trying to market your book. Like, how do you tell people what it's about? And I'm a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan. And while I don't write horror, I love the psychology in his writing, and I love the spooky elements that he introduces in his stories. And that's kind of the vein that I write in. I love the spooky. I love the Halloween vibes. I don't write to scare, but I do touch on those elements in more of a spooky psychological avenue than I do a horror sense. So that's where the
Mm.
gothic comes in for that type of style.
What is
Uh-huh.
what is
Mhm.
the definition of gothic? Sometimes we just
So
think you walk around with all black.
right,
Yeah, that's all I
so
know.
so there's definitely the goth culture where they walk around in all black with the mascara and all the makeup and nail polish and stuff. But the way I think of it, I think of like old Catholic cathedrals and the architecture of that.
Oh,
And when you're
yeah.
thinking about like the
Okay.
stories that were told in that time frame, that's how I picture it. And that's kind of the vein that I write in. Or if you go down to New Orleans and basically all the rich culture there and the cemeteries, how they have the angel statues and that in the mausoleums. That's kind of what I think.
Okay, got it. Got it. What encouraged you to start writing in that genre? Why not a romance or love story?
Yeah. So don't be fooled. I do have romance in my stories. It's very small, but I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. So there are some romantic elements in my stories, but I love the universal monsters like Dracula, Wolfman, and all that growing up. And
Okay.
so I loved those. And then as I started to develop writing, the stories that interested me the most was in that vein. I love angels and demons. I love, like I said, the different monster types, and I love the humanity overcoming these over the top obstacles. So it kind of just fell right into place for what I like to write.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's pretty special.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
why is it so important that the younger audience should read this dream tale?
So I wrote it connected to my son and my nephew, who were 3 at the time. They're 5 now, but it was me exploring what they could be doing because they would sit there and they would have a conversation and we'd have no idea what they're talking about because they didn't have full speech yet. So they just sit there and they babble back and forth to one another, and I was like, "What are they talking about?" And I've always been fascinated with dreams, so they kind of just clicked in my head one day, and I was like, I bet they're just talking about what they experienced that day. And it's not as philosophically deep as my other stories, so I think that the younger group can actually enjoy it more and still enjoy a really cool story. But in my other stuff, it's more like young adult to new adult, so 16 to 25 range, and then Dream Tale is more like that 10 to 15 range, where I don't touch on the same deep or darker elements that I touch on in my other work, and it's still just a fun story. The main character's 10 years old, so and he's got his cousin, which is also 10 years old, and then he meets a girl who is in another dream world, and they all kind of become this group of friends. So it's all in that age range, and then like I said, dreams are kind of what kids enjoy at that age. Like I remember waking up being like, "Guess what dream I had?" and just wanted to tell my parents and my sisters.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
So creative. So creative.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring Mr. Rich in so you can meet him. Rich, this is Alfred. Alfred, this is. If you guys have questions for each other,
he's working partially on my side of the road with the Edgar Allan Poe stuff. Is I've read some of those stories. I have some of the short stories I was showing earlier. Some of those collections are in that vein. The Halloween themed stuff, the Twilight Zone kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, because I don't like to scare either. I don't like to be scared.
Yeah, that's not my cup
But a
of tea.
thriller or a suspense is kind of cool.
Yes. And I don't really read much horror either, so I really don't know. Like, it fascinates me how someone can put stuff on a page that then scares somebody reading the book. Like in movies, you get the jump scare, but I can't connect that in a book. So that's a way more talented individual than I am.
Yeah, I used to belong to horror writers of New England, or New England horror writers.
Oh, wow.
Back about 10 years ago, mostly because I was just starting out and I needed to make connections, and they were willing to, accept me. And I did a bunch of events with them because I could get it was cost effective to do it that way. But it became clear as the years went by that they were huge Stephen King fans, which is in the horror sense, in the true horror sense, the scary sense. And I was not in that sense. And I tried to write for their anthologies and could never do it because they were looking for something that was really scary. And I just don't do that. And eventually I decided it's time to part ways, just because I don't belong here. It was clear I don't belong there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're good at and what you enjoy to be a successful writer, I believe. All right, we're gonna bring Mary back in. I think Mary may have a question. Hi, Mary.
Hi, I did have a question for Rick. He was saying that he was a mentor, and I just wanted to share with him a mentor. It's not totally a mentor program, but it's a program that I have founded, and I would like to give you that website if you would check it out for me.
Okay.
Rick, can you hear me?
I think we lost some audio there somewhere.
Yeah, I think
Mary, try to give the website again. You broke up a little bit.
Oh, the website is flipga.org.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I love it when you guys can connect with one another. That makes a big difference in the show. Alfred, tell us, are you self-published or do you work with a publisher?
I am currently self-published. I go through Amazon.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's common.
Yeah, I tried the querying process when I first started out, and I did some research, and I love the idea of having control over my work and the time frame that I can release it in, rather than relying on a publishing company to set when I can put stories out. So I just like having more control over my work in general.
Good for you.
I've done small press and self-publishing, and I've come to conclude that control over my own work is better.
Mary, what about you? Are you self-published, Mary, or do you work with a publisher?
I'm self-publishing, but I also work with a self-publishing who has much better skills than I have with technology and with formatting. So I've been pleased with that. As a matter of fact, this is my latest book she publishes. It's From Cotton Fields to Tassels. That's my
Oh,
memoirs, and she did
uh-huh.
this.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cotton fields to castles. I, that sounds amazing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Tell us about your family, Alfred. Uh, is there anything in your writing that reflects someone in your family, or is it all just what comes to you?
So it's a mix. I try and take everything that I've had in my life, from interactions with people to, I mean, my family is a huge part of my life. So I definitely think there are those elements. And one of them is my main series, The Water Crystal. It basically started out as an imagination game that I would play with my sisters in the backyard growing up. So it's that story that we would play out over and over again, because I grew up before technology was at your fingertips every day. So uh, I was out there in the backyard playing and created these stories to entertain my sisters. So it's that story. So in that way, it is definitely related to my family. And then the characters within my story take elements from different people in my life. Some of them are my family members. Some of them are just friends or people I've met that I thought would be interesting or unique that could bring a new light to a character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. What about you, Avalon? Have you written any books that were inspired by family members? You,
Oh wow, yeah. Angie knows my children books are all my grandchildren. So I have 7 grands, 3 great grands. Each one of them have a book that they are the character in. And
yeah.
I also wrote about my mother and father, about their life from, meeting each other when they were 2 years old up to the time my father passed in 93 and then my mother passed in 2018. So she basically gave me, while she was in the nursing home, her last 3 years, because of my work schedule, she was in the nursing home and she just loved it. I don't know. I guess because when I was working, she had to like be kind of, in her room. This way she could be all over the nursing home because she was still in her right mind, she can go about herself. But she dictated that story because she used to talk about my father a lot. So then I started asking her, about when they met and stuff. So as she was talking, I was writing. And every time I go visit her every day, I wrote a little bit. So I was able to finish the story before she passed away. So yeah, I have, I have family in there. And
Yeah.
then my daughter and my son, they're in anthologies that Angie and I did together. So yeah, pretty much most of my family, all my family is in my writing.
That is cool. That is cool. I love your response, Alfred. That is cool. It really is. Hmm. Alfred, tell us your writing style. Do you create an outline, or you just say, okay, we're gonna start with chapter one and go from beginning to end?
I am as lost as the reader when I start writing. I have no idea where I'm going. I have a general idea in my head of like where I want the beginning, middle, and end, and then I just kind of let my characters go. I tell myself that I'm a better editor than I am an author, because I'll write the first draft and it'll be absolute trash. But my goal on that first draft is just to get the story done. So
Yeah.
once I have the story done, I go back and that's when I really flesh out scenes and really work on the plots of the story and where all the strings are supposed to connect. So
Okay.
I'm just going for it when I first start out. Start at chapter one most often, but I will skip around if I have an idea. Like I know this has to happen at some point in the future, so I'll write that, and then once I have the whole story, I fix it up.
That helps. That helps. What about you, Mary? Do you create an outline of your books, or do you just start from chapter
I
one and
do.
keep going?
I do have a working. I do have a working outline. Usually, I start with the working outline. because I know basically the topics I want to cover. But as I begin to write, that gets changed over time. And then I rely on the Holy Spirit to nudge me. Sometimes He will give me an idea that I need to include, or one that I need to defer to another book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is wonderful. 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 Rich, what about you? You got an
Um,
outline together, or you just know what it's going to look like?
it depends. Sometimes I have a plot. Usually I have a plot, but it's usually high level because I know that as I go, there will be details I didn't think of that will come up, and I don't want to squash anything. And
Right.
then it's not, as I work through it, I'm revising that plot, um, and figuring out what do I need to do to keep on track to where I think I want to be going, or where I need to be going to get the ending that I'm looking for. And sometimes I can't do it, and sometimes I can. And when I can't, then changes have to be made. And when I
Yes.
can, then sometimes it turns out better than I expect because
Okay.
I make connections that I wasn't expecting. That happens all the time,
Okay.
which is good because that means I've surprised myself.
Yeah.
If I surprise myself, then I'm going to surprise the reader, and that's one of my goals sometimes.
That is wonderful.
Um,
Well, listen, we've got an anthology that we want you to be a part of. Avalon and I are working on a new anthology called I've Had Wives and I've Had Friends. So I'm going to play this video for you. And while these videos are playing, why don't you guys put your contact information in the private chat so you can connect with one another afterwards. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I've had wives and I've had friends. An anthology for women written by the men we are trying to love. Gentlemen, you are cordially invited to become an author by sharing your thoughts and experiences in our anthology. Tell us about your love for sports. Tell us about your love for grooming. Tell us about your love for gaming. Tell us what you want us to know. Submit your bio, headshot, and your story, along with the submission fee of $250. Send it to author Avalon Brown 165 at yahoo.com, or you may send your info to angiebpresents at gmail.com. An anthology for women written by the men we are trying to love. I've had wives and I've had friends. Brought to you by author Avalon S. Brown and me, the Queen Bee, Dr. Angie B. Living with anxiety and depression can feel like you're drowning. Come join a tribe that will help you press through parenthood and life. maternalmattersfavored.org, mmfavored.org. Your legacy starts with a spending plan. You may be thinking, I won't have anything to leave for my family except for debt. It may seem that everything is becoming more expensive and you aren't making more money. However, that doesn't have to be your truth. With a plan, you can become aware of your financial situation and change it accordingly. In this short chapter, we will cover debt, budgeting, debt repayment, credit cards, and your why. The first step is to compile a list of current bills and debt. What may be helpful is to look at your checking account and credit card statements to see what charges have come out in the last 1 to 3 months. Where there is a will, there is a way. Estate planning made easy for you. Written by Marshall G. Short. On Linktree, visit MG Short Tax SVC. On Instagram, search for MG Short Tax. On Facebook, search for MG Short Income Tax SVC. And on the World Wide Web, visit mgshorttaxsvc.com. Where there is a will, there is a way. Estate planning made easy for you. Written by Marshall G. Short. Audiobook produced by Angie B. Productions and narrated by me, DeQueen B. Angie B. I've had wives and I've had friends. We women need to hear stories from you men, because we're trying to understand, we're trying to love you, we're trying, but we're clueless. So just get ready to write your story, and Avalon and I will get it together for you. So Avalon, today was wonderful.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. I
So
hated
much
that.
information. Yes.
Yes. Man, makes me want to. I'm a second generation Star Trek fan. I remember growing up, I was little and I would sit on my dad's lap and he would watch, and I would always get scared when the man with the pointy ears would come on.
Spark.
Yep. And then finally my dad said, "What you scared of? It's just a TV show." And I was
I
like,
know.
"Oh,
Yeah.
okay."
That was one of my shows too. Yes,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
I
And
love that show.
now my daughter has an avid Star Trek, Star Wars collection of memorabilia. She's got a
Really?
whole,
Wow.
yeah. So we're 3 generations of sci-fi fans. So I was really excited to hear from Rich. I really was. And then the whole concept of what Gothic really is. Alfred really broke that down wonderfully for us. You know, those big statues and the Catholic Church. Yeah, I get it. I completely understand it now.
Right, right.
And
I'm
with
like you. I thought it was like all the black outfit and the makeup.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I learned something from Alfred today. Thank you, Alfred. And Mary, her heart, just I can tell she pours her heart into her work, because when she talks about it, it's just nothing but love. The Holy Spirit and love. She
Yes.
just reflected all of that. That was just absolutely wonderful. So we're going to bring everybody back in, Mary and Rich and Alfred. And if any of you have any closing statements, any dedications you'd like to share, Mary, why don't we start with you if you have anything you'd like to add before we go?
Yes, I alluded to it, but I didn't really talk about this book. This is my latest book, my memoirs, From Cotton Fields to Castle. And this is my life story. Of course, it's not a complete life story because this was ended before recently, because there have been some recent events that I would love to have had in here, but they hadn't occurred yet. So anyway, I have to write an addendum or a sequel to this. But this is I've had a wonderful life, and I'm just sharing it with people that I've had an abundant life. And come travel with me. As I say, come safari with me. Okay.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. Thank you. Alfred, tell us what's on your mind. What closing thoughts do you have?
It's only the beginning for me. I have so many stories that I plan to write. I'm finishing up my Water Crystal series this year, so book 4 will be out, and that will complete this portion of the series. I will have a sequel series to it, but it's just the beginning. I have a romantasy that I'd like to write. I have it's a new genre, lit RPG. So I just have all these pans in the fire that I'm ready to start cracking on. So it's just getting one day at a time.
Just the beginning, just getting started. Thank you, Alfred. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Thank you so much, dear. Rich?
No problem.
I'm much the same way. I've been doing this for a while, but I recently retired, and now I do this full time, and I'm just getting started on all the things that have been sitting. I keep getting new ideas. I had to take notes this morning for at least 2 ideas because I got a new one, and I'm going, okay, I can keep one idea that I haven't touched in my head, but I can't do both at the same time. So now I have two ideas for possibly, I don't know what they're going to be, short stories, or bigger things. I don't know.
All right.
So if anyone's interested in any of the stuff I've talked about, please check out my website. Contact me. We'll hook you up. And aside from that, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk. Happy to hear about your anthology because I don't understand women, so it's good to know that it's the same on the other side. It's been a major mystery of my life, and I got married, so I don't know how that happened.
Same here.
So, but yeah, and we never even touched on the poetry that I write because there's a bunch of that too. So I got all kinds of stuff. So come check me out.
All right, will do. Thank you so much, Mary. You enjoy the rest of your day and your 2 events, Mary. Thanks for being here. And
Rich and Alfred sound like me. I have all these ideas. I keep putting this one in a folder, that one in a folder. I'm going to try to do a mystery, but see now my mystery is surrounded around the nursing station about this plant. The head nurse, her plants keep dying, so she need to find out who in there. Huh?
Mysteries are hard. I tried to do one. I found an old one I wrote.
Outline that I'm going to follow. I got an outline.
I have an old one that I wrote. It's not very good back in college that I thought I would try to fix, and I didn't get too far in doing it. It's hard. I have a friend who does it.
I admire any mystery writer because that is a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, this will be my first. This will be my first. I've never done mystery, but I keep hearing all these mystery books out here. I was just like, let me try. I just want to see how it's going to come out.
Yeah, if you manage, you should have a good number of people who will want to read it because mystery fans are pretty avid and pretty loyal to when they find something good.
You can do it.
It's hard to do. It's very hard to do. I think.
You can do it. Thanks, Rich. We appreciate your encouragement. I appreciate it. All right, we're gonna let you go, Rich, so you can enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Alfred, we had one question that came in through text.
Cool.
Do you write anything that my teenager would appreciate reading?
So all of the stuff that I write is basically for that age range from 15 up. So the Dream Tale, I still think that an older audience could enjoy, especially if you have kids or if you are a grandparent. I think that you could see the interaction between the two cousins as if it was your grandchildren or your own children. So I do think people would enjoy that, regardless of age. But my Water Crystal series, and I have a standalone book called Reaper Society, Veil of Death. It touches on darker elements like life and death, but it's not graphic in the sense of, I would give it a PG-13 rating if it was a movie, as would I with the Water Crystal series. So all the stuff I write is PG-13. There's nothing too grotesque about it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for joining us on the show today. I loved your enthusiasm.
Thanks so much for having me.
I know, right?
We'll be in touch. Have a good one.
Yes.
Thanks, Avalon. We wouldn't have had a great show if it wasn't for you. I appreciate you, dear.
Oh, now you have something to do with it too. It's your show. I just go out and find the people.
All right. We've got a women's conference coming up in June. I want to show this video so you can make plans to come and join us in Deltona, Florida in June. Christians Merging Together Ministry presents the second annual Women of God in Unity Working Together Conference. Women who are not afraid because they know God will calm down the storm, no matter what the situation is. It takes place June 20th, 2026 from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Deltona High School located at 100 Wolf Pack Run, Deltona, Florida. Guest speakers include Pastor Tiffany Ware, Minister Paulette Singleton, and Dr. Pam Powell. For more information, call 386-220-5395. That's 386-220-5395. Women of God, IUWT.com. you are cordially invited. You are invited. June 20th. Be time for you to come to Florida. You're invited. That's us. We're women of God working together.
Okay, yes. And
All
listen,
right, sweetie. Yes.
audience, let me say this. If you are interested or you want to see some of my writing, you can go to author@AvalonSBrown.com and see some of my books. There might be something there that, interests you, especially the children books.
That'll be perfect. I love you, dear. I appreciate you. And if it's the Lord's will,
Love
we'll be
you
back
too.
with another episode on another Saturday. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.